Hi, Chris Good here. Here's a video on how to format the references section of an APA-style manuscript properly. So I got a blank document in front of me. I've saved it under the name references. And just a couple of things before we get started. First, notice how the cursor here is blinking. The area in which that cursor is positioned right now is the body of the paper. I know that because it's below the blue part of the ruler here that indicates the margin. And also the cursor, right, has a normal Microsoft Word sort of cursor thing. If you move this normal cursor up above the body of the paper, it changes. Now it's in the header area. You can tell that because it's got a little highlighted blue header there. And if you double click in this area, that's how you get to access the header information. Normally the references section would come at the end of the body of your paper. That is, it would come after the introduction, methods, results, discussion, and right before the figures with their legends. But we're going to go ahead and put the page numbers automatically and give this the title. So I'm working from a model paper that's published on the Bedford St. Martin's APA style formatting website. And the title of the model paper is Can Medication Cure Obesity in Children? Whoop, spelled obesity wrong. Obesity in children. Okay. Now, that's not centered properly. I mean, it is centered, but we want it to align to the right, and then we want to make sure that the page number appears. Now, we could do this manually, but Microsoft Word has this great feature where you can just insert page numbers, right? And it'll give you a formatting menu that says where do you want it to be. So top of page in the header, align to the right, show number on the first page, that's already checked. You can do it that way. You can also do it by clicking on the Document Elements tab and clicking on page number under the header and footer. Now this is the Macintosh version, the Apple version of Microsoft's Word, but the Windows version of Word works pretty much the same way. If you work from the Insert menu, it's going to be the same as anywhere. References won't appear on page 1, but if you formatted the page numbers automatically, like I just showed you, instead of manually, then it'll update the page number wherever you put the references section to the right page. Okay, so we can click on the close button, or we can double click again in the body of the paper to get back to the body, and we want to type in the heading. The heading for the references section is references, but it's not in all caps. References. And that heading is centered. So we're going to go back to the Home Tools and click Center Text. All right. I'm going to take this opportunity to highlight the text we've typed so far and make sure that we have double space selected so that when I hit the return button, it's going to insert a regular double space after references, and now we can start typing the first reference. Except we're still centered. So we need to stop center text and start align text left. When we do that, the cursor will go over to the left, and we're just going to type in the reference as it's written in APA format. The first reference here is Berkowitz, and then the initials are RI, but a space goes in between the initials, so it's R period space I period, comma. Wadden is the next author, right? Wadden, comma T, then a space, and A with the initial. Tershakovec is the next author. Notice that these authors are not in alphabetical order within the reference, right? This is the order in which the authors appear on the original publication. So I'll finish typing out the author list. Cronquist is the last one. Make sure you put that space in between the initials. Then a space in the year of publication, in parentheses with a period after it. Then you begin typing the title of the article, and only the first word is capitalized unless that word follows a colon. The title of this is Behavior Therapy, and sibutramine is a drug for the treatment of adolescent obesity. Period. The next section of this reference is the title of the journal article, and every word in this except for articles and prepositions is capitalized. So journal of the American Medical Association. And then a comma, then the volume number, and we would put an issue number in parentheses if known. I don't know what the issue number was here, so I'm just going to do a regular comma, and then the pages on which the article is found, inclusive. That means the first page of the article is page 1805, the last page is 1812. Period, you're done with the reference. Hit return. Notice I didn't hit returns to create these lines. I just kept typing and it flowed the text onto the proper line. Hit return after you type in each reference. Okay? So the next reference I have, I'm just going to copy and paste this one. This reference was from a website. It's not a peer-reviewed journal article, so it doesn't maybe follow the same format as the ones that you're going to put in, but this is the next one. Notice that Carmona, the first author, the last name of the first author, or the only author, comes after Berkowitz. So your references should be ordered alphabetically by the last name of the first author. All right? I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste in all of the rest of these references. And they have a return after each complete reference, but not after each line. Once you do that, we've got all of our references in here. And you can see, so Berkowitz, Carmona, the next is Kritzer, Duenwald, Henry J. Kaiser Family Foundation. That's an organization that published a document, so it's alphabetically by the first word of the name of the foundation, even if it's somebody's name in the foundation. You won't have this problem with peer-reviewed journal articles because they'll all have last names of first authors. Okay, and McDuffie, Roche Laboratories published something, and finally Yanowski, and Yanowski is my last reference. Now, all of these are formatted properly in terms of APA style except for the hanging indent. And we're not going to do this one at a time. We're not going to use the tab button as I'm doing right there, right? We're not going to use tabs or spaces to insert the hanging indent. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to highlight all of our references except for the heading. And we're going to go to the ruler bar up here. If you see, there's a triangle facing down and one facing up, and then in the Apple version of Word has a square underneath it. If you grab the square, you just move the entire indent for all of the lines at the same time. If you grab the top triangle, you move the first line indent for after every carriage return. But if you grab the upward pointing triangle, then you move the hanging indent. And what we want to do is just move that over. Hanging indent means that every line after the first line is indented until you get to a carriage return, and then the next line after a return is flush with the left margin. Okay. Because we had all of our references highlighted, we can see that all of our references now have the proper hanging indent. Couldn't be simpler. I will see you guys in the next video.